Most business advice out there is like, you need better systems, but that's so generic. And they don't even show you what they actually mean. So thanks, buddy. And no, I'm not gonna pay you $8,000 for your course. So I made this systems funnel that will walk you through the key functions that typical businesses need to take their prospects through from discovery all the way down to fulfillment. Now, I've been helping scaling businesses move away from spreadsheets and messy data to a consolidated one-stop shop for their entire business. Now, this system is called a CRM. And if you don't have one just yet, you're leaving thousands of dollars and hundreds of wasted hours on the table. Now, keep in mind that there are way more functionalities available, but it will just take too damn long for me to go through all of them. So I've compressed them into the usual 3 segments: top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, breaking down each tool within this behemoth of a software to show you that you don't need 20 plus tools to run your business. And by the end of the video, you'll have a clear picture on how this software can save you hundreds of dollars in third-party solutions, close more deals, and finally gain clarity on your customers and how they interact with your business. So let's get to it. Top of funnel. This is where your customers are meeting you for the very first time, either offline or online. Here, I've categorized these channels into 3 main segments: the attraction systems, engagement system, and the connection systems. Starting off with the attraction systems, this is where you actually generate awareness and start pulling in leads, or at least eyeballs that want to work with you. From here, we've got 3 main tools that will help us to achieve on these goals. First of all is social media. As you know, that's incredibly important these days. We've got social media functionality, cross-posting, and scheduling capabilities. Now, these are the things in itself already. There are third-party tools specializing in just this. But again, the whole problem with that is that data will be scattered across these different tools and software. So the idea here is to consolidate them all into one spot, and you'll see this pattern repeated throughout this entire topic. So social media and cross-posting and scheduling. Next up is paid ads, conversion tracking and reporting, because many of the times when I'm working with marketers, they know that you're spending X dollars on a particular campaign, what leads or prospect that eventually turns into. Sometimes you know it, sometimes you don't, but the big question here is, okay, you spend $1,000 on a particular campaign across 7 days. How many of those actually turn into a successful opportunity and a close-won deal? That's where most of the ambiguity lies. So the ability for us to actually have conversion tracking and reporting capabilities is critical, especially to report back upwards to management to say and justify that our ad spend is actually bringing in real dollars to the business. And last but not least, for the attraction systems, we've got website and landing page builders built into the software itself. Talking about social media, let's go into our system right here. And what we can do here is navigate across to socials. Number 1 is with the ability to actually create a social post right from the system itself. So you can go ahead and just connect all the different accounts that you're posting from, be it your Instagram, your LinkedIn, and I think recently as well, YouTube is a thing that you can connect into the system. From here, you can start to type whatever it is that you want. Post. Okay, and now depending on which account you actually post, you can see on the right hand side here, you can start seeing a preview of what it actually will look like on the platform itself. From here, you can add on your hashtags, your emojis, and your additional content like an image or a PDF. And you can go ahead and schedule, publish now, or schedule for later as well. You get all these functionalities on what time or date you want to actually post. And directly from here, you can start to add it to a marketing campaign as well. Now, apart from that, we've got a few more capabilities as well. So we've got compare social posts as well. Same thing where you were to look at a A/B testing of a particular marketing email. The same thing can be done here with social media. So you can see side by side up to 10 different posts. Which post gained the best interactions, has the best analytics, the most common shares, which one actually resonated with your customers. You can start to analyze this side by side right here in the tool itself. Once you start actually posting from this platform itself, in this Analyze tab, you can actually see the audience, number of published posts, count of interactions, the amount of clicks that post actually generated, the amount of shares, all the stuff that you can start to track as you start posting off of the platform. Now, this is my favorite part about this tool, is actually the calendar. So this acts as a social media scheduling tool, right? Where you can say, okay, on this particular day in the future, on the 30th, I want to create this particular post. And once you've done that, it actually pops up here and you can start to drag that post left and right whenever you want. Now, next up, we've got paid ads, conversion tracking, and reporting. Now, this is not exactly meta ads, but what it does is it allows you to reflect off of the dashboard that you normally see in meta ads and actually give you an overview of what's happening in your platform in one system. So you don't have to go back and forth all the time to actually see what's been happening with your campaigns or with your ad sets. It's all visible over here. And most importantly, you can actually start to track the amount of contacts that actually came through. So all of the form submissions are coming through here as well, the number of clicks, and how many of those actually turn into opportunities. So every time a form is being filled, a contact gets created in your system, and you can then start to monitor along the customer journey as your sales team picks it up, as your marketing team hits them again with retargeting ads, you can actually start to track all of this into one system. So while your performance marketing team handles the back end of Meta, you as the management team or marketing team, the marketing manager, for example, can go in here and to see from a broad perspective what's happening with your campaigns. Next up, we've got website and landing pages. So instead of us actually having to go to, I don't know, Webflow, for example, or Wix or Squarespace or whatever, there's actually an inbuilt web page builder as well as landing page builder right in this system itself. So again, that saves you another subscription altogether. Now what's great here is depending on your subscription, obviously, you can start to generate stuff with AI, or you can just click start it and you can choose from a plethora of different templates that's already inbuilt in the system itself, all of which are obviously drag and drop, just like any website builder these days. It's pretty much the same. You've got a bunch of different templates to choose from, and from there you can start to build out your website and your landing pages straight from the system. Landing pages are great for any marketing campaigns or launches or special events that you want to conduct, and start to gather inquiries or expression of interest through that landing page. So very helpful, because immediately you don't have to rely on a third party where they potentially gatekeep certain pieces of information. From here, all of the interaction you get from your landing pages or your websites actually gets funneled straight into a dashboard, and you can see the amount of traction that you actually get over time. So you can see here, for example, you've got a new visitor session total by day with source breakdown. So there's a massive spike over here. So you can see right over here on the 5th of August, we did like a massive campaign that resulted in a massive spike in the number of sessions on the landing pages and in the websites, and then obviously it trickled down again as we start to taper things off. Now moving on, we've got engagement systems. This is where we nurture interest and give leads something to actually interact with through our business. This is things like trackable marketing collateral and forms. Okay, so forms is pretty self-explanatory. It's a contact us form, qualification form, inquire about us, as well as trackable marketing collateral. Marketing collateral just means, download our brochure. Here is our 5-page how-to, industry insights and tips, things like that. So what we can do here is actually upload a document, and I can choose it from your computer or anything like that. What we can do is generate a link. Now this link can be specific to a person. So let's just say that I'm obviously sending it to myself, but it could be the email address of the recipient that you want to send this document out to. What we can do is create a unique link, and I'll take this link and give it to them via an email. Now you can't see it on my screen here, but what I'm doing is I'm actually using my own personal email, the email that I just keyed in, and I'm actually going to start to scroll through the pages, okay? Clicking through the pages, spend some time on particular pages, browse through and just skim over a couple. Now once you've done that, you can actually come back into the system here, and you can start to see that that email that I have keyed in has opened the sales document. That contact has been created in the system, and if we do a quick refresh here, because I am still looking at that document, you can start to see here that if you open this up, hey look, me, spent 0 seconds on this particular page. On this particular page, I spent 3 seconds, and I spent 11 seconds on the assessment report page. If you go back into documents as well, you can start to see that, hey look, I'm a visitor who has looked at this particular report, and we can go ahead and hit details, and we can start to see that, hey look, 11 seconds-ish on page 1, skim through page 2, page 6 was particularly important, as well as page 3 is particularly important. And this will continue to update as that contact begins browsing or revisits that particular document. So how does this help us? Well, it helps sales. Perhaps this is a document that gets sent out prior to a discovery call or a follow-up meeting. The sales rep can go into here and see exactly what pages was the prospect particularly interested in, so they could prepare themselves on potential objections, things that you want to bring up, and a plethora of other things. This is up to your imagination to tackle, but this analytics allows you guys to really hone into what's actually important to the prospect. Now next up, let's talk about forms really quickly. So form creators, I think you all know this, but the beautiful thing again about having this built directly in the system is that you're able to harness the ability for us to immediately gather and update the information directly into the CRM without having any delay between softwares. For example, the naming convention for, let's just say state, for example, okay? There are different interpretations of what state actually means. So I'm here in Australia right now. There is a naming convention for Victoria, so spelled out the way it is, Victoria, or VIC, or Melbourne. Okay, and depending on what the user actually inputs, that your particular software that captures that data would capture it in that particular way. So I like to capture Australian state as a drop down, simply just because there is no flexibility in what they can select. So if I were to click a certain thing like Victoria, well then the internal database will only show VIC, for example. So there's no discrepancy between Melbourne and Victoria and VIC, and we don't end up with 3 different options saying the same exact thing. So that's data hygiene 101. So for us to be able to build the form directly in this one system, where both your customer data as well as this tool capability for form creation is in the same place, you'll have a seamless transition throughout your entire system about what each data point means, so that it will allow you to reinforce this reporting down the line as well. So we've got 2 different ways of creating forms here. We've got the legacy form editor, which is just a straightforward kind of one chunk, as well as the current form editor, which is a multi-step form. Now again, depending on your use case, you could use either one, but for this purposes, I'm going to use the legacy form editor, okay? Just because it's more straightforward. Again, with almost anything in this tool, we've got tons of templates to choose from. Ebook download, which is, I guess pretty straightforward. Event registration, the generic contact us, collect payments, registration, but we can just start with a blank template right here. From here on the left-hand side, you can actually see all the different properties. Now, when I say properties, it essentially just means data points, okay? Things that you want to capture or remember about that particular object. In this case, it's the contact. So we can start pulling in stuff, right? So first name we can pull in, last name we can pull in as well. We can also start to change the way this question is being asked. So for some reason, you want to change first name to be, I don't know, salutation, or something like that, something weird, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stick it to first name. You can have the help text. What name does your mother call you? And this is where, for example, if you want to capture a particular email, but if you only want, you're only working B2B, for example, and you don't want to take in or entertain any end customers, so no @gmail@yahoo.com, so that's a type of domains, what you can actually do here is block free email providers. So that means that any of the emails that gets keyed into here has to have a @companyname.com. So anything like the aforementioned would just be invalid and they can't submit the form entirely. So this is plenty to deal with. We can start to redirect to a particular page. So perhaps once the form has been submitted, send it over to a payments page or to a new landing page where you hold additional resources. All of these things like redirects can be done here as well. Last but not least, here for the top of funnel, we've got connection systems. This is where we turn interest into conversations and opportunities. Now I've highlighted 2 key functionalities or tools in this segment. We've got our sales, prospecting, and lead generation workspace, as well as a consolidated conversations inbox. So these 2 things are very helpful for the top of funnel. All right, now we're in the sales workspace of the tool. Okay, from here we can start to do a bunch of different things. This is where we can start to create our prospects. So let's just say, for example, you need to do a bunch of cold calling, right? Or you get a list of leads to call from that you purchased off a data scraper or something like that. You can actually start to import that list of contacts or prospects into this one system so that you don't have to bounce back and forth to your specific tool to just do prospecting. From here, we can create leads. We can start keying in their name, which part of the pipeline you want to enter them into, what's the status, are they a new business, are they a recurring business, are they warm, are they cold, are they, where are they from LinkedIn, from Google Maps, from wherever the different sources are. These are all important data points to actually capture, because at the end of the day, what you want to see is how effective each outreach channel was. So for example, LinkedIn is a higher conversion rate. Well, you want to be able to track that. And the only way to do that is to actually account for and mark these prospects from their original source and where they came through. And at the same time, as you're making these calls and as you're trying to reach the appropriate point of contact or the decision maker for that particular business, you can start capturing all the information that you need about that particular contact. So their phone number, perhaps what are the tech stack they're currently using right now. If you're a SaaS business, any issues or frustrations that you're currently facing, all of these data points can be captured in the system as well. So when you revisit this particular prospect in the future, you know exactly what it is that you talked about before, or another member of your team could actually follow up because everything that was said is captured in one place. Now, next up, what we have is the inbox. Now, the inbox is particularly interesting because we're essentially able to connect all the different communication channels that you have, be it inbound, outbound, automated stuff that you get from a third-party software, for example, Typically, if you were to sign up for a, I don't know, like a website where they give you leads or people leave in an inquiry on a form or something, typically that particular software will send you an email. Now it goes to one person, but what we can do here is set up a team email or actually set that as a source inside of the system so that any conversations about the particular topic can get funneled in from different channels all into one place. So if you go into our inbox settings here, we can connect the channel, and you can see here there are tons of different inbound methods in which we can connect into this inbox. So a team email is what I said before. So for example, sales@yourcompanyname.com. Any communications to that inbox would be sent in this one space so that anybody or selected people within your organization can actually come through and view and reply and count and whatever from that particular for that particular inquiry. Now, chatbot is something we can talk to, not in this video, but in another video where you can connect straight into this point as well. Forms, any form submissions can go straight into this place. Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and as well as your calling capabilities as well. Now, moving on to the middle of funnel. This is where your customers are now intrigued. They're interested, but may not be fully convinced. They want to find out more and are open to learning more about you or even staying connected. From here, I have categorized these channels into two main segments: our nurture systems and our conversion systems. So for nurture systems, this is where we build trust and start warming up our leads. Okay, we've got our meeting scheduler tool, our marketing emails, and sales sequences, all very powerful stuff for the middle of funnel. Right here in our meeting scheduler tool, what you can start doing is creating a scheduling page. So I've created one already. I'm just going to show you how it looks like. From here, you can start doing all of the customization. So this pretty much replaces things like Calendly. That's again another software that you have to pay for, but if you go to this system, well then forget about that. It's all included here already. Again, benefits, same thing like I demonstrated before. Mapping of all of these properties that you collect from these forms as someone lands onto your meeting scheduler page, there is going to be no discrepancy at all about what is it you collected and passing it on to the rest of your team. So no more email notifications and things like that. It's all captured in the system. So then 6 months down the line, you can actually look back on that particular contact if it's closed, won, or lost, to say what was it that they inquired about and did they eventually turn into the customers for that segment of your business. So from here, very typical stuff. I'll just gloss over this really quickly. You can start to pull in the event title. You can customize it wherever you want. And from here, obviously, if they have got specific properties or data points that was previously known already, you can start to populate that into the event title as well. You can choose where it is that you want this meeting to take place. So be it Zoom, be it Microsoft Teams, be it Google Meets, whatever, it can all be selected as well. You can start to say, okay, I'm only available at this time. Like that's all it takes. And it actually connects to your main calendar as well. So for example, if you're using Google Meets and you say you blocked out Tuesday from 12 to 1 because you're having lunch or something, then no one can actually book in that particular time with you, even though your availability window stretches across that particular time. All right, so it talks to each other. And this is where, like I said before, we can start to collect in additional questions that you want to ask. So any qualification questions that you want to ask, things like, why did you reach out to me today? Are you a current existing customer with us? Where did you come from? All that sorts of stuff, you can start to enter that as well. Now, next we'll talk about marketing emails. Now, this is really great because again, like I said before, this eliminates the need for us to have yet another subscription such as MailChimp or Klaviyo or anything like that. This can be done straight into here. Hit create email. We can choose between two main emails, a regular email, which is pretty much just for announcements or one-off emails, or an automated email. These things can be placed inside of workflows so that when particular instances happen, this email gets sent off automatically. So let's just say, for example, a simple one, someone fills up a form, then this automated email that we create gets sent 2 minutes after, or immediately after, or 1 week after, whatever it is, you can do that as well. But I'm gonna show you guys how to build a regular email. So same thing with the website and landing pages. This software has got tons of different templates to choose from. You can go ahead and select it there, have all these different sections or modules, and you can say, okay, I want to put a button here now. You can go ahead and do that. You can add in your link. You can open up a file. You can send them to a meeting link. You can redirect them to one of your pages. You can put in a call to action, perhaps a video. You want to embed a video into here as well. You can do it straight from YouTube, or you can upload that video straight into the system, and then you can start to have it play on demand as well. What I love as well is there's a schedule, right? So you can schedule now or schedule for later. So I want to send it off on Saturday at, I don't know, 12:15 a.m. for whatever reason. It can actually adjust time to the recipient's time zone as well. So if your base of operations or your headquarters is here in Australia, but you've got people who are living in the States, for example, or in, I don't know, another part of the country like Perth, for example, you can then send it off to their preferred recipient's time zone, and it actually varies. So that's pretty cool as well. Now, next up is sales sequences. Now, this one is pretty powerful as well. So sequences allows us to connect with leads and customers at scale. So what we pretty much do is we set up a flow. What does a sales manager want to dictate the customer journey to look like, and the different touch points it actually entails as you try to close these prospects as they engage with you. So big orange button, we can go ahead and create a sequence. And from here, we've got a couple of different pre-made sequences and templates, obviously, that we can choose from. But as always, I'm going to start from scratch. Now, from here, we can choose a couple of things. Now, the first step, what is the very first thing that's going to happen as someone enrolls into the sequence? So depending on how your business or your industry operates, you can choose a couple of things. You can say, hey, please create a call task. So once the lead actually comes through, let's just say we're connecting this from a Meta ad. So once the lead comes through, within 5 minutes or immediately, call them, right? That's typically the case. So we can say call contact for first touch. Okay, we can set this to a high priority, and then we can give some notes. We can say, hey, team, this lead came through from, and we can pull in the source, okay? And then we can pull in stuff like first name is here, email is this, and phone number is this. You can also then give additional information as well that we have pre-collected from the form that already lives in the system. So it's immediate. They are in this particular state. Okay, there you go, state. And we can just add that to the sequence. So this sequence, the first task is to call, and then what happens next? Okay, so if they don't pick up, there will be a automated email that gets sent out. You can say, I don't know, here we go. Let's just do a automated email, and that will get sent out in 2 business days. So if the call doesn't come through, send off this email 2 days later. Now, how a sequence works is if a particular step is successful and the touch point has been made, that sequence essentially stops. If not, you'll continue down this journey. So you can set this up for as long as you like. You can also start to create A/B testing. So you can see whether or not email 1 or email 2, at which stage of your sequence is more successful at converting your prospects than the other. So a great way to actually A/B test as well, to really hone in into which messaging resonates with your prospects the most. Moving on to the next segment of middle of funnel, we have our conversion systems. This is where we're moving leads closer and closer to the commitment stage, okay? So we've got things like templates and snippets, as well as automations. So this template is actually not to be confused with the email marketing templates. Now, these templates are pretty much sales one-to-one templates, which means that if I'm sending you a generic email, you want to pre-populate a couple of key points or repeatable things that sales teams pretty much always find themselves saying over and over again. For example, I don't know, their pricing structure or their opening hours for some reason, or what services they provide. Instead of having to continuously repeat and say the same thing over and over again and type it in your emails, you can actually hit a button, and then this template will actually populate automatically with all the information you need, and you can send it off in 5 seconds. You can do a subject line, here are our prices, okay, and then we can start typing it in. So again, hello, we can personalize this template to address that contact directly. So we can do, hey, first name, here are our prices, blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever it is that you guys want. You can start to input images as well. You can insert documents. You can insert a meeting link. You can insert a video, anything like that. And you can go ahead and hit save template. And next time you can just do a hashtag pricing, and then this whole template actually pops out for you guys as well. Now, automations is a very big piece here. I won't go into it really quickly because we're actually covering it at the bottom as well. So let's move on to the next section. So bottom of funnel, last but not least, this is when your team have successfully converted a lead into a customer. From here, basically now what, right? That's the question, because the job isn't done yet. Understanding the customer journey as they interact with various departments of your organization, if they face any bottlenecks or delays, as well as perhaps how long it takes for your team to actually deliver on each function of your delivery system, and all the key data points to take note and track. Because at the end of the day, what you want to do is to also, like I said before, identify any bottlenecks. So the moment the contract is signed, which part in your fulfillment or your onboarding process do you find that customers are least engaged perhaps? Or that teams are panicking and frantic and not knowing where things are? Which point in the process are you guys finding that things are being held off for too long? Or which stage is incredibly fast, and you want to attribute them to that as well. So from here, we got things like deal pipelines, we've got object structures, and we've got workflows. So looking at deal pipelines is essentially just like this. Opportunity or a deal closes, it comes into stages. When a deal or opportunity actually closes, you're gonna enroll them or create a particular deal in your system. From here, we can actually track the progress of the opportunity throughout the different stages. So for example, we've got a new patient or a new inquiry, a deal gets created. Within each stage, you can start to prompt internal team members to collect certain pieces of information or update certain pieces of information, and therefore kind of guide them throughout the process to a particular endpoint that you have particularly decided. From here, high-level analytics can be captured as well. So you can see here at the top of the screen, you've got total deal amount. How many dollar values do you have sitting in the pipeline already, waiting to close on a particular date? And you can start to forecast the closing rate or the closing amount for your particular quarter or your particular month. Average deal size, average deal age. So it takes on average 190 days to go through from contract sign to handoff, for example. You can start to track that. And this view is completely customizable. Anything you can pretty much think of, if the system captures, you can report on that. Next is object structure. Now this is a little bit more technical, but I'm going to gloss over it really quickly, because any good system can be bent to your will depending on your business structure, your industry, and how it is that you want to associate different objects together. Now what I mean by objects is this. A opportunity or a deal is an object, a contact is an object, a company is an object, a customer service ticket is an object, and how these different objects relate to each other is the object structure that I'm talking about here. Now, and because of the system's continuous improvement, now we can start to rename or tweak each object to fit your business needs in particular. So no two businesses are alike, and not two businesses' system will look the same, but this one cohesive system can actually be implemented and twisted to fit a majority of industries out there. Now, last but not least is the workflows and automations. This is by far my favorite part of the entire thing. And just off the bat, what this does is it allows you to create freely the journey of time-saving automations that you want to take place as you start to progress your prospect or your deal throughout your organization. This workflow, it always starts off with a trigger. So what kicks off this entire process? So let's just go straight into it. Let's just do it very straightforward. The first one here is a form submission. Okay, so we're taking it from the very top. When someone actually comes through and they complete a form, so you can start typing in form submission. When they fill up this particular form, for example, they will kickstart the process and enter it into this workflow. And the next step here would be something else. It could be, okay, let's just send off an email. Okay, we can send off an email. We can choose from one of the emails that we created before. We can pop it in there. And then what we can then do next is we can say that we can branch it off. Okay, if the inquiry was service 1, go down this path, service 2, service 3, and each of these segments would have a key representative within your organization to take charge of this particular inquiry. So it's not being bottlenecked by an admin person or a receptionist or something like that that would potentially hold up the queue. As inquiries start coming through, you can funnel these inquiries to the best person or the best team responsible for that particular service. So there's no bottlenecks essentially, right? So you can start the branch and we can say, I don't know, service 1. Oops, I can't type today. Service 2, service 3. Okay. All right, now for each service, we can then say, okay, I want to give this to Richie, for example. Okay, so Richie would take charge of service 1. All right, now once it actually comes through, what you want to happen, all right, what we can do is we can send off a ping, a notification, and create a note. Now there's obviously so much more you can do with workflows, but I'm going to stop right there. So this is a broad overview of the systems flow. Again, top, middle, and bottom of funnel, all the different tools you can utilize at your disposal from this one system to take your customers from acquisition all the way down to fulfillment or deliverability. I hope this video helps you at least give you some ideas of the possibility that a system like this can actually do for your business to consolidate and to remove any spreadsheets or manual input. All of your customer journey, your customer data points as they interact with your business can be all in one place. Gives you the peace of mind to focus on what you do best and let the system take charge and go from there. Now, if you like this video, I'll really appreciate it if you can go ahead down below and hit subscribe and hit like as well. It will truly help me out as I grow this channel and reach more business owners, marketers, and sales leaders like yourself. As always, down below there's a link to my HubOps Unfiltered newsletter as well, where I share more tips and tricks like these, as well as a meeting link down below if you would like to work with me one-on-one personally. I would love to speak with you as well. That's all for today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take it easy now. Bye-bye.